That is a cam follower. Babyliss calls it a blade cushion. This you can replace on your blade so that it's not as loud. Got a BaBylissPRO FX Trimmer is familiar with the issue of them getting loud. This one isn't even really that loud, but you can remedy that problem by either changing the blade, because it's the cam follower that's making the machine loud. And the cam follower is this plastic piece that feeds into the drive that moves the blade back and forth. So when you buy a new blade, it comes with a cam follower as well. The cam follower is this black piece here. So when you buy a new blade, you get a whole new cam follower, so it's fresh and it won't be as worn as the loud one, so it'll remedy your problem. The other solution is, with your machine, you would have got a little plastic bag that says blade cushion on it, adjustable blade cushion. That is a cam follower. Babyliss calls it a blade cushion. This you can replace on your blade so that it's not as loud. So the reason why these cam followers wear out is because the drive on these rotary motors is circular, but the blade moves horizontally. So that cam follower changes the movement from the circular movement of the motor to the horizontal movement of your cutting blade. And what happens is it wears out because the motor's spinning in a circular motion, and it wears out that cam follower, and that's the vibration that you hear when it's getting loud like that. So we'll just do a quick tutorial on how to change your cam follower or blade cushion. It's a bit of a challenge with this blade because there's a spring in here and a couple of screws that you have to remove, but we'll do a quick once over, so you can choose to either do it yourself or just go out and buy a new blade with cam follower to remedy the situation. To take the blade off, really straightforward. These two screws, Phillips screwdriver. So if you choose to replace the blade, it's very straightforward. The new blade comes with fresh new screws. Not that you really need fresh new screws, but the plate will be nice and gold and pretty, so it'll look really nice. So the whole unit comes just like this. You just feed it in to your drive. Drive goes in, or cam follower feeds into the drive, and you just put the two screws in there. Simple as that. Very straightforward. Now, if you choose to replace your cam follower, we have to just use my screwdriver to open up the bag here. Open up your new cam follower. So what we're doing is we're replacing this guy with this guy. So first thing we have to do is we have to take off the spring that's holding everything down. So be careful, you got to keep some tension on there, because when your screw releases, the spring is going to come out there. So there's your fixed blade, there's your moving blade, and with your machine you'll also get a little hex driver, which you would use for adjusting your zero. So you can loosen these two screws and move your blade back or forward depending on how close you want it to be. But in this case, I'm going to use the hex driver to take the screws right out of the cutting blade. There's one hex screw, second hex screw. This is a little, there's so many parts to this. So you may elect to just go buy a new blade because there's so much involved in changing the cam follower with these. So this little bracket that goes on the bottom is what's going to sandwich the cutting blade like this. It's going to sit under there like this. And then we got to put the new cam follower on there. So that just feeds in there like that. So you got all kinds of little bits and pieces here. You got the little squares in the back that are threaded that you're gonna be, you got to make sure that they're seated properly back here. It's a good idea to hold the back of the retention bracket here, because these little threaded squares will fall out if you don't hold them in. So best to hold them in while you're putting your new cam follower in. Okay, so we've got the new cam follower blade cushion installed onto our cutting blade. So now we have to reassemble the blade. So we know that the moving blade is going to sit there against the fixed blade, and the spring is going to go just like that. And now we have to get the spring holder to sit down and hold everything together. There's a little hook there at the front that's going to hook in to the bridge of your spring like that. And then we need to line up our hole here with the hole, the screw hole. There's a lock washer underneath this retention screw. Don't lose that lock washer. This is what holds it down nice and tight. So don't put your screw in until you've lined up your holder there, your bracket holder with the screw hole. Drop your screw in. It's best if you really put it down on something stable and you apply pressure, because you gotta feed, there's two little pieces from this holding bracket that have to feed into the two screw holes here as well. So you really have to apply pressure to depress the spring and get your screw threaded into the hole. I tell you, it is a real challenge to make this happen. So after you've put everything back together again, you've got your new cam follower in there, you'll just loosen there are two hex screws here, and then you can gap your blade accordingly. I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time getting it beautifully zero gapped, but that's how you do it. And then you can tighten the blade down again with the two hex screws. You can do that with the blade on the machine as well. Whoops, wrong machine. There we go. So even when your blade's on the machine, from here you can loosen your hex screws and move your blade back and forth. But for now, we'll throw the screws in here. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. So that's how you would change your blade cushion or your cam follower in the BaBylissPRO FX Trimmer. You could just go out and buy a new blade. It's a whole lot easier. In case you're thinking, cool, I'm going to bring you my machine and you can put a new cam follower in for me, don't do it. I don't replace cam followers for these machines. It isn't a guaranteed fix. Sometimes you change the cam follower and the machine's still loud. It's a process, as you've seen, to change the cam follower in these. So we don't offer that service because it's time and effort that isn't guaranteed. We'll sell you a new blade, we'll show you how to do it yourself, but we don't install new cam followers.